please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
After a high-pitched, high-decibel, high-octane campaign, the loudspeakers have now momentarily gone silent. That's because the ball is now with the electorate. Thanks very much for joining us on this special broadcast. I'm Ronajay Banerjee. With me in the studio is Archana Shukla, who's traveled the lengths and breadths of Gujarat when the campaign was in full swing. Archana, thanks very much for joining us on this show. What are the key things you'll be watching out for? You've been to Saurashtra, you've been to Surat, and many of those constituencies will be voting today.
Well, large amount of, I felt discomfort, especially in the business community. I would really be watching out for if that economic discomfort is converting into, a vote cut for BJP, particularly in the regions of Morbi, Rajkot and Surat, which are really small sector enterprises which have been hit by recent business policies. But yes, over the next 60 minutes, we will bring you ground reports also and speak to some of the sharpest political minds on what is turning out to be an epic battle.
Well, that's right, Archana. And before we do that, let me sum up what is at stake and the state of Gujarat. 89 out of the 182 assembly seats have gone to polls today. Remember, if we were to jog our memories, in 2012, the BJP had won 63 of those seats. The Congress had won a mere 22. 977 candidates are in the fray for the first phase. And I was saying, Saurashtra, South Gujarat are also going to the polls. Saurashtra is, remember, where the impact of Hardik Patel, who was leading the protests against the BJP on the issue of reservation, is being felt. Surat, which has traditionally been a BJP fortress, that too has seen protests by traders, businessmen against the rollout of the GST by the Modi government. The Congress campaign has been most aggressive in this belt, hoping to encash on farmer distress, patidar agitation and protests against the GST. The key contest to watch out for in the first phase is of Vijay Rupani in Rajkot West and the BJP president Jitu Bagani and Congress stalwarts like Shakti Singh Gohil and Arjun Modwadia. In fact, Chief Minister Rupani, as we speak, is facing a stiff test from Congress party's Indranil Rajyaguru, who is also, incidentally, the richest candidate in the fray. Take a look at some of the key highlights through the day.
गुजरात के प्रथम चरण के आज चुनाव काफी उत्साह है। हम चाहते हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सब अपने वोट का इस्तेमाल करें और लोकतंत्र के इस प्रणाली को पवित्रता के साथ उसका उपयोग करें और आज का दिन 14 तारीख भी एक उत्सव की तरह हम उसको संजोए।
We are going to win this, and it's not due to me, but it's due to people who are tired of all malpractices of BJP, not only during elections but during their government also. I should try my best to do good for people.
Well, so everybody is claiming they're going to win, but we'll have to wait till the 18th of December when the results are announced. But let's delve into this. Joining us now to discuss the major issues that could have an impact on the results. Firstly, Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya, Business Standard, is with us. Thanks very much for joining in. Congress spokesperson Ami Yagnik, BJP spokesperson Saeed Zafar Islam, ETV Gujarati's Rajiv Pathak, and an entrepreneur from the ground in the state of Gujarat, Himanshu Kekani, also joining us. Thanks very much to all our guests for joining us this Saturday afternoon. Ami Yagnik, let me start with you. The sense was that Congress was gaining momentum, but suddenly with Shankar Aiyar making the kind of loose comment that he did, even though Rahul Gandhi has suspended him from the party, many are saying, and using this cricketing analogy, did Congress give Narendra Modi, more like Sachin Tendulkar, a juicy half volley because Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, is not letting go of the issue? Somewhere do you think those comments may have sort of changed the momentum that we've been seeing that was perhaps in favor of the Congress?
No, I don't think so. That is at all an issue. Maybe the Honorable Prime Minister or the BJP is trying to make it an issue. But at the very first point of time when Mani Shankarji said that, Rahul Gandhi ji asked him to apologize immediately, and we made our stand clear that Congress never uses even an unbefitting or unparliamentary language, even slightestly. And so I think that issue is not an issue. But maybe if the BJP, when it is seeing that the people of Gujarat are questioning their governance model, questioning the development model in absence of being any development on the ground, a reality check shows that practically on all fronts the BJP has failed, at least in the last 10-15 years, because I am not going to say that 22 years you were in power, they were in power, but maybe the first 5 years they came up with some kind of projects they planned, but of late practically they have not delivered anything to the people of Gujarat. Right. Maybe it is on the business front, maybe it is on the Mahila Suraksha front, maybe on the education front, which is very important because we have mushrooming of private universities, self-finance, and the youth who comes out of these. And so, no, these are the issues the Gujarat citizens are facing, you know, the people of Gujarat.
And so we will, yes, Ms. Zafar Islam, yes, we will just come to you.
And it's not an issue at all.
We will be delving into what the BJP has done in the last 22 years, and we'll also be digging into the manifestos. What are the promises that you've made that you will be doing if you were elected to power over the next 5 years? Zafar Islam, come in on that, because clearly, even if you look at read some of the editorials in the newspapers, if you look at some of the ground reports and the kind of commentary that we've been getting from the BJP, there is this palpable, it appears to be an anxiety among the BJP. Let's look at some of the regions that would be voting today. Saurashtra, there are 48 seats, and we've seen, in regions of Saurashtra where there has been a lot of angst among many of the smaller traders. South Gujarat, in the last 3 years alone, we've seen 3 caste uprisings. So what is the mood like in the camp, Zafar Islam?
Well, as far as the mood is concerned, the people of Gujarat have made up their mind that they will once again, will vote for Bharatiya Janata Party and give us a thumping majority. And there are various reasons for that. First of all, Yavni Bahan was talking about the development and governance model. The only place on earth after the economic crisis which has given sustained growth of double-digit growth is Gujarat. There's no other state in the country which has given a double-digit growth during that period, and it is Gujarat which has consistently been giving 10% plus the GSDP. If you see the Gujarat's GSDP for last several years, the absolute amount when they left the government in Gujarat was 71,000 crore. Today is 10.33 lakh crore. Then she was talking about other development and governance structure of Bharatiya Janata Party in Gujarat. Let me tell you, in terms of education, she was talking about the education. The dropout ratio was over 50% during their period. Today, in primary school, the dropout ratio has come down from 51% to less than 2%. Thanks to the policy we have adopted, thanks to the number of schools and colleges and universities we have opened, thanks to the number of universities, thanks to from 7 universities to now 57 universities, from 30 engineering college to 230 engineering college. Likewise, many polytechnics, many educational institutions we have opened during last 22 years. In terms of HDI, from 6.60%, we have come down to 0.4%. Let me just complete.
Mr. Islam,
that she was talking about the governance model, and in terms of, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Islam, great. Yes, great to hear that you're talking about a lot of development that Gujarat has seen in the last 22 years of BJP rule. Somehow we had missed out on that in the entire campaigning, especially in the last few days, where campaigning was not at all around development, so to say. And at this point in time, I'll bring in Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya, Editorial Director of Business Standard. Mr. Bhattacharya, how do you see this? A lot is riding as far as the, Mr. Islam, we'll come back to you. I just wanted to bring in Mr. Bhattacharya over here. We've spoken a lot about the Gujarat development model, so to say, but we've seen it missing as far as the campaigns here is concerned. Mr. Bhattacharya.
Well, I mean, this election, yes, this assembly election in Gujarat has seen the emergence of national issues coming to the fore, and assembly polls in a sense have actually become a kind of a referendum for national policies, particularly demonetization and GST. And of course you have the Gujarat model of development, which is associated with what kind of capitalism do you see. Now, so I see this election largely fought on whether Gujarat, which is one of the topmost industrialized states, have actually accepted the impact of the kind of GST that was rolled out and the impact the demonetization had on the lives and business affairs of small and medium and even big industries. So, so the first point I would like to make is, in this election, we have seen Gujarat Assembly polls becoming a kind of a referendum for national policies, national issues. Now, as a result, as the point that you mentioned, as a result, the state level issues, unfortunately, that Mr. Islam was referring to, will actually have got a short shrift. So that, to my mind, is what has really happened in this election. You know, people talk about the UB elections giving a verdict on demonetization. I think that was too soon after demonetization that election happened. I think this election has happened after 1 year of demonetization and 4 months of the rollout of GST. So this is probably the first election, assembly election, happening in the most industrialized state in this country, a very business savvy state, on demonetization and GST. So I would look at the kind of campaigning that happened was reflecting those concerns and less of the local issue concerns, you know.
Right. That's, that's a very interesting point that you've brought on the table, Mr. Bhattacharya. Let me just take a quick response there from Zafar Islam. Yeah, Mr. Islam, do you feel that this election, in a sense, as Mr. Bhattacharya is saying, is going to be more like a referendum on some of Prime Minister Modi's pet projects, whether it's demonetization or the rollout of the GST? Quickly answer that, sir, and then we have to go and take what's happening over the EVM controversy. Quick 30 seconds for you, sir.
Well, as far as his position on this result, an outcome of the Gujarat election will be a referendum, I don't want to comment. That's his personal views. I mean, I don't want to comment on that, because the state election is a state election and it's being fought on state issues. But having said that, let me also tell you that Congress initially was discussing about these issues, but then they didn't get the traction because people were talking about teething problem. A teething problem, everyone understands that when you migrate from one system to another tax system, those teething problem will be there. And those teething problem during the process will get addressed. And it has been addressed. So the traction what initially they got, that traction is stopped. They stopped getting those traction as they went along in the campaign. So, and the GST and the demo is a big success here. Demo is a big success all over because it has been targeted to people who are actually making black money through unfair means. So we are not overly concerned about demo and the GST because we know that it was done in the interest of the people, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the business community, and those teething problem have also been addressed. But what is more important for everyone to realize that what they have adopted for Gujarat, the policy of misleading what they are good at. And that is what they are trying to do, to mislead the people, that they will give reservations, something which is constitutionally not possible. We are not against anyone, but the way they are projecting it is wrong.
We get your point.
And that's why youth of Gujarat is totally
get your point.
unhappy, and we are also...
We totally get your point that obviously GST, it's the teething problems which are here, but somewhere they had been very severe, and that was also the sense that I got on the ground. But at this point in time, let's shift a little bit of a focus onto the controversy surrounding electronic voting machines. Some of the machines in Gujarat Assembly elections this time in first phase of polling have seen some bit of electronic voting machines not working properly. And let me bring in Mr. Rajiv Pathak from ETV Gujarat to get a sense on, sir, what is the sense that you're getting from the ground as far as electronic voting machines are concerned? Their malfunction, which are the areas that you see possibly could be impacted?
See, some parts of Saurashtra and some parts of South Gujarat, complaints are coming in that EVM machines are not functioning properly. So complaints have reached to Election Commission. Election Commission is looking into them also. At some places, even BJP candidates have requested Election Commission to extend time, because the time has wasted in repairing the or maintaining the proper mechanism of EVMs. So there are some complaints. One of the biggest controversy is from Porbandar, where Congress big shot Arjun Modhwadia has claimed that in a polling booth, EVMs are being connected to some mobile phones using Bluetooth. Though a chief election officer from Ahmedabad, B.B. Swain, he has completely rejected this. He is saying that it is not possible to hack into EVMs. But still, local election officers have reached the spots. They are also trying to verify what is the exact situation. So these things are happening. But so far, we should say election have been quite peaceful, and there is a huge turnout in almost all the constituencies, around 25% till 12 o'clock, and highest being in tribal areas. So that is quite surprising that more than urban areas, rural is voting more compared to urban areas.
Okay. No, absolutely, and good to know people are coming out in large numbers. In fact, the voter turnout already is, some media reports are saying it's over 30%. But let's get in some political reactions, some big voices on this alleged malfunctioning of some EVM machines. Let's take a look, and we'll bring our guests back into the conversation.
See, कोई संदेह नहीं है कि कांग्रेस को अब की बार लोग जिताना चाहते हैं, और उसमें बिल्कुल भी कोई संदेश नहीं है. पूरा जो वातावरण एटमॉस्फेयर है, अगर कहीं ईवीएम में गड़बड़ी हो या कोई मिसचिफ की जाए तो ही कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, लेकिन जहाँ पे भी ऐसे ईवीएम की कंप्लेन है उसको ठीक करनी चाहिए. अदरवाइज में बिल्कुल भी संदेह नहीं है कि कांग्रेस अब की बार यहाँ पे जीतेगी.
निश्चित रूप से स्वाभाविक है कि ईवीएम्स जब भी प्रयोग होते हैं, और क्योंकि हजारों पोलिंग बूथ्स में होते हैं, तो चंद एक बूथ्स में कई बार मशीन खराब होने की शिकायतें आती हैं, और चुनाव आयोग के पास व्यवस्था है, हर चुनाव में होता है, ये पहली बार तो हो नहीं रहा. इसलिए इसमें कोई बहुत विचित्र विषय नहीं है. मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि चुनाव आयोग तुरंत कार्रवाई करेगा, और हम भी चाहते हैं कि वोटिंग स्मूथली हो.
All right, so those are some of the political reactions coming in. Let's get in a quick word in from Ms. Ami Yagnik. Ms. Yagnik, now the Congress is alleging that perhaps there's some kind of tampering with the EVM machines. I remember when Kejriwal had raised this issue, Congress was one of the parties that kind of, you had debunked, those issues, saying that this was perhaps a figment of Mr. Kejriwal's imagination. Now you're doing the same thing in Gujarat. Many, ma'am, are construing it as perhaps a defeatist attitude.
No, maybe the candidate over there felt for the machine he was in the vicinity, and so maybe he pointed it out. We can't compare what happened at Mr. Kejriwal's time and today's incident. This has happened right on the spot, and because of the malfunctioning, I think the Election Commission officials have rushed to the place. We may let them come out and say that yes, there is nothing wrong in these machines. But if you see, today from morning I am seeing that several machines are being malfunctioning. They have to come and they have to repair them. They have to see that the maintenance is done properly. I don't know what they are doing. They are replacing them. So there is some kind of malfunctioning at several places. So let the Election Commission do the needful and look into the issues. Why should there be such a malfunctioning when we have such preparations for any election in any state being done for a long time, means in advance. So there should not be this kind of issues at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ms. Yagnik, at this point, let me bring in Mr. Himanshu Kekani, the on-ground businessman from Gujarat. Mr. Kekani, thanks so much for joining in. Just one sense from you, very quick before we head into this break, as to what is on your mind. You are the businessman on the ground. What do you think is the biggest issue going on right now?
See, I would say that as Bhattacharya pointed out that this election should have been fought on the issue of development or no development. It should have been referendum on the national policies, but it has unfortunately slipped into other domain of caste and religion and everything. And it is very interesting to note that it is Congress that rope in the issue of religion. With Rahul Gandhi visiting all the temples and then at the end declaring him a Janoidhari Hindu. I think the focus was on development or no development in the social media. Vikas Gando Thayo was the key topping point, and then suddenly they changed the gear, and unfortunately it seems that Congress is not very confident that they can win the election on the basis of no development theory only. So they brought in these issues like Hinduism and casteism and everything. And
but Mr. Kekani, what are the issues as a businessman on the ground, Mr. Kekani? As a businessman on the ground,
yes, that is what I am trying to say.
Have the GST related concerns been addressed? Go ahead.
There is no denial of the fact that GST has hit the business community very hard. There are many who are not comfortable with the day-to-day accounting also, and they are now burdened with more GST related compliance things and everything. So, and that too, they have to do it on digital format. But it would be very interesting to see that whether this type of initial hurdles will weigh more, or the hope that this ultimately GST is good in the long term. So I would say that business community is of the viewpoint that GST is ultimately good for the long term. I would like to say that.
Okay, in the long run, and which is the point I think, Archana, you were also making, that whether this economic discomfort will translate into the voters voting differently this time around. So I think from the words of Mr. Kekani, he kind of echoes what the BJP spokesperson is saying, this could be short-term pain. But let's, on that note, let's slip into a break, but come back in a few moments where we'll delve into the manifestos. What has the Congress promised? What has the BJP promised? And are those promises?
જેમણે દરેકમાં અટકાવવું છે, લટકાવવું છે, ભટકાવવું છે, એવી કોંગ્રેસને હવે કાયમ માટે લટકાવી દો. હવે આ કોંગ્રેસને ભાઈઓ બહેનો ગુજરાતમાં પ્રવેશ ના મળવો જોઈએ, અને હું આપની પાસે આગ્રહ કરું છું 150 કરતા વધારે બેઠકો સાથે આ વખતે ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટીની સરકાર બનવી જોઈએ.
Well, that's Prime Minister Narendra Modi hitting the campaign trail for the second phase. He continues to milk the statement made by Shankar Aiyar, calling him a niche admi. Let's go straight across to Pallavi Ghosh, who's in the Modi bastion of Vadodara. Pallavi, what's the buzz that you're sensing there?
Well, it's the first phase of polling in Gujarat, very crucial, but already allegations of rigging and EVM malfunctioning are coming in. And this is exactly the point which opposition parties, particularly the Congress party, had made ahead of the elections. They had gone to the election commission saying that this is exactly what they were worried about. Now, the worry for the Congress party is that the more this talk gains momentum, it essentially means that the core Congress voters, or those who want to bring about change, may not actually go out and step out and vote, because they will feel that what's the point of doing so. But at stake is the states like the regions like Surat, that is in those areas where important factors like GST and demonetization plays an important role. Yes, there's a substantial anger among the traders over GST especially, but will that be strong enough to counter the still ongoing Modi charisma as far as the state of Gujarat is concerned? The Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, all of them have repeatedly tried to reassure there has been a tweaking of the GST tax slab, essentially to counter this kind of an allegation or concerns which has been raised by the traders and which has been used by the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi also.
All right, Pallavi, many thanks for joining in there from Vadodara. But now let's take a look at how the Congress and the BJP manifestos stack up against each other. On the big issue of quota for patidars, the Congress has promised reservation. The BJP has done so, saying the move has not done so, saying that the move is constitutionally impossible. On the agriculture front, Congress has promised loan waivers and the BJP has promised interest-free loans. For the youth of Gujarat, Congress has promised a monthly allowance for the unemployed. I think that's about 4,000 rupees is what they have promised. BJP is promising new jobs by creating an industrial zone. As far as women are concerned, Congress is promising Pakka homes and 100% free education. The BJP is also promising free education and a special empowerment fund. Finally, for the working classes, Congress is promising equal pay for equal work and an increase in minimum wages. The BJP, meanwhile, has promised a universal scheme, insurance scheme, and housing along with the healthcare. Here is Arun Jaitley on why he believes the reservation for the Patidar is not constitutionally viable. All right, I think we will get that bite from that he said, the finance minister said yesterday when he released the manifesto. But on that, on the points of manifestos, let me bring in Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya. Mr. Bhattacharya, we saw, BJP almost grudgingly releasing its manifesto barely a day before the, before the first phase of voting. The bigger question, one, are manifestos losing their relevance? That's number one. Secondly, when you look at the Congress, the promises the Congress has made, because, they are the challengers, they need to come up with something new and interesting. Is there any fresh idea? Look at some of the promises they have made: farm loan waiver, slashing power tariffs, free laptops. It's the same entitlement-based economics that they have followed in the past, which has not really given them, rich dividends. How do you address these two issues of the fact that manifesto is losing their relevance, and specifically Congress, the promises they have made?
Well, you are right. I mean, the kind of neglect that was shown to the idea of a poll manifesto to let the voters decide on how they will like to exercise their franchise is something is very unfortunate. And the issues that were debated and discussed during the campaign did not touch really the core issues that these manifestos are talking about. Now, you brought out a very good comparison of the different the manifesto promises of both the Congress and the BJP, and my sense is that the Congress manifesto is more problematic than the BJP manifesto from a plain reading of the promises made both by the BJP and the Congress. Now, if you look at the Congress manifesto, it is, as you rightly pointed out, it is the promises on reservation, entitlement, waivers, and what is more, a hit to the state exchequer by promising reduction in taxes to a level by which petrol and diesel prices come down by ₹10 per litre. So, to my mind, if the Congress were to fulfill the promises made in the manifesto, if they were to come to power in Gujarat, I would say that the Gujarat economy will definitely not be a winner. Whereas if you look at the BJP manifesto, in my view, it is much more realistic. Probably it is infused with the sense of responsibility it has acquired because of ruling the state for the last 22 years, and the promises are much more realistic. And so, purely from the manifesto point of view, I find the Congress manifesto a little more romantic, trying to introduce things that might do a lot of harm to the Gujarat economy, whereas the BJP manifesto is more realistic. Having said that, let me end by saying that manifestos are not really that important in these elections, which is very, very unfortunate, because how otherwise would voters exercise their franchise?
Right. Thanks, Mr. Bhattacharya. You ended on a great note. But let me bring in Ami Yagnik just for a quick comment. Can I just bring Miss Yagnik right now for a quick comment? Mr. Bhattacharya says the manifesto is very, very romantic, so to say. Miss Yagnik, one quick word from you as to, does Congress really believe in the manifesto that they've come out with? Because there have been several controversies and several criticism based on how it is just very unrealistic.
It is absolutely realistic, but I'm very amused at the word romantic used for the manifesto. We have gone to every nook and corner of Gujarat. We have interacted with a lot of people across sections, across classes, across with the students, with the business community, with women, with children, and with tribals and Adivasis, and have come out with this manifesto. Only if it is doable, we have put it in the manifesto. I don't know why people should doubt it, but with seeing our manifesto, it has reluctantly and grudgingly come out with a small manifesto which has no specifics, and except hitting on the reservation policy, the BJP has not given out anything in its manifesto. It has talked something which is, we would do it, but not shown the way. We have shown the way how we will go about doing what we have mentioned in the manifesto. And definitely, the economy of Gujarat is in slums. When it was in 1995, we left with 10,000 crores of debt. Today it is 2,22,000 crores of debt. And with every nano car that comes out, in Gujarati pays 60,000 rupees.
Yes,
so I think we have come out with a very, very good manifesto. We have promised the people of the state what we are going to deliver if we come into power. But what has happened to the BJP government? Why have they not shown what they will do in this manifesto?
Ms. Yagnik, the criticism comes from a point that, we'll come to you, Mr. Zafar. We're just coming to you for a comment on this. The criticism is coming from the point of view that in the past, all these type of reservation, quota, things have got a rebuttal from the Supreme Court itself. And let me bring in Mr. Zafar Islam here, sir. Your 30 seconds here right now on this issue of quota. And just to be fair, there is also criticism
you have
for
given
the
enough
BJP
time
manifesto.
To other two. No, you have to be fair to me. I will speak the way you have given opportunity to others to speak. Let me first comment. There are three important issues as far as the Congress manifesto is concerned. First, they are trying to mislead. Yamini Bayan is saying that they have visited every nook and corner. Yet, the manifesto will dent the social fabric of the society, because they are talking about the reservation, which is constitutionally not possible. They are talking about entitlement, not empowerment of people, poor people. What we are trying to do, that we are trying to empower. We do not believe in entitlement, but we believe in empowering people, and that's why we will create opportunities for them. Second thing, which is more important, that they are promising many things. Like, for instance, they will reduce the petrol prices and diesel prices by ₹10. Tell me, they have government, they could have shown a track record that yes, they can do it. They have government in Punjab, they have government in Karnataka. Have they done it? We have, as a BJP government,
Mr. Zafar Islam, point taken.
The VAT, and the center we have reduced the duty. But have they done it? No. Let me just put three more important points. They are talking about.
I understand
that they will give too many doles to people. But as far as Gujarat is concerned,
let's talk about BJP's manifesto. Mr. Zafar Islam, let's talk about your manifesto.
What is left for the Gujarat state government is 70,000 crore after meeting the. Oh, see, our manifesto.
Let's talk about your manifesto. I have. Sir, just I agree. I want to draw your attention.
With 0.01%
let's
loan
try to keep
after
it
10
civil.
years.
This is a business channel. This is a business channel. We don't believe in screaming, shouting. We believe in a constructive discussion. So we will give all our panelists, and we've been giving them ample time to respond. Zafar Islam, I want you to respond to two of the key issues, on your manifesto that I want to draw your attention to. One, you have now in the manifesto you have promised doubling the provision for Thakur and Kohli Development Corporation, aid to Dalit industrialists, setting up a world-class Adivasi University and Adivasi Kalyan Board in all districts in the state. Is this your attempt to woo the backward caste, the scheduled caste? Is this your attempt to appease them, sir?
Not at all. In fact, it is Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm repeating again, it is Bharatiya Janata Party which is totally against the policy of appeasement. We do not believe in that. We believe that the social fabric of the society gets dented if you have the policy of appeasement. However, it is our responsibility as a responsible political party to ensure that section of the society which needs to be uplifted, those policy needs to be incorporated in our manifesto or revision document. And that's why some of the issues which have been addressed is primarily because section of the society which needs to be empowered. And that's why we need to empower them rather than throwing a dole which cannot be possible, which is financially, which is not viable. Okay. That is why our manifesto or vision document or Sankalpat, whatever you may call, but our Sankalpat is actually aimed at two important things, that the infrastructure which needs to be developed for everyone, sabka saath, sabka vikas, is something which we believe and which we want to deliver, and which we have delivered in the past, because there is a track record to back. If you do a back testing, you will find that the Bharatiya Janata Party has delivered every promises they have made. Unlike Congress Party, which has a record of delinquency, whatever promises they make, they try to mislead the people, they try to unnecessarily confuse them.
Let's not do name calling. We don't believe in that, sir. Thank you. So let's not do name calling. That's all right. Thank you for that response, and we've given you
that they will never give an opportunity to
articulate
in Gujarat.
the stand BJP has taken as far as his manifesto is concerned. But let's bring in Mr. Rajiv Pathak. Mr. Pathak, you're the journalist on the ground. You've been tracking these elections for several years now. Tell me, what if Congress does, let's say, for the sake of argument, pulls off a victory? Can they fulfill the promises they have made? How do they ensure, reservation, which is not constitutionally possible? They have said, Rahul Gandhi has said that we will, whatever, his stand is that 18%, GST on all items, which has been, like universally rebuked, saying that you cannot have one single rate for all items. Is that going to be a problem, if at all any, if Congress were to actually pull off these elections?
See, this is very difficult to achieve whatever they have promised, and there are three factors that are most important in this election. One is for farmers, how no one has to explain to them that how we will help you produce more, and also how we will create market for your produce. They are just saying that government will fix a minimum support price that will be beneficial to you, but see, government cannot buy all of their produce. So there is absolutely no vision how they are going to help them create a market for their produce. One thing, in cities, see, price rise and employment, these are the two most important issues in cities, urban areas also. So they are saying that we'll just decrease the excise duty, but that is not the solution. How are you going to help them earn better? How are you going to help them get proper employment? That is absolutely missing on that. And third is the quota. Congress has just given a solution that we'll give you quota in this manner, but it is very clear that unless there is a proper constitutional amendment, more quota cannot be accommodated. And for any constitutional amendment, you have to have your own very, very powerful or big numbers in central government also, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also, which is not there for Congress. So they have promised, but yes, even if they come, it will be next to impossible to fulfill those promises.
But Mr. Pathak, do you think, the voters in Gujarat are somewhere aware of these loopholes in the manifesto? Because when I was touring around in Gujarat, particularly in the Saurashtra region, where the campaigning by Hardik Patel has been really intense, a lot of people, especially even in the rural areas, were aware of the fact that constitutionally possibly a reservation is not, imminent. It may not happen, and it was in the minds of the voters there. While they were, this was a personal sense that I got in my tour, that while they were looking at Congress and the Patidar community leader Hardik Patel as an alternative to BJP, but they were aware of the issues of the manifestos that Congress has come out with as far as reservation.
Agitation in 2015. So his focus is on government atrocities and not on how Congress is going to give quota. So that is amply clear that people also know that quota is not at all possible. But that's why Hardik Patel is trying to play that emotional card, that when we carry out an agitation, government just use police force or extra force to suppress that. That is the point he is also trying to focus, and that is the point he is trying to touch the emotional chord with youth and specifically women of Patidar community. Whether this translates into vote for Congress or BJP, that remains to be seen.
Right. Mr. Kikani, come in on here. You are a voter. You are also a voter there, a businessman. How do you view, or how would you calculate who to vote for at a time when, the BJP manifesto comes out just 24 hours before the voting has to begin with not much, there? And similarly for Congress, while they have come out with their manifesto a couple of days in advance, not much there in terms of how possible the manifesto could be on ground. What really will be on the mind of the businessmen there when you look at the manifesto for both BJP as well as Congress?
I would like to say that as it has been discussed already, that unfortunately, very unfortunately, this election has seen that manifestos have become almost irrelevant for the election. It has been declared almost on the eve of the election day, and it has been left to the experts to debate on it, whether it is possible to deliver the things or it is not possible. It has not reached the people. I think people have already made up their mind whether they would like to vote for the BJP or Congress. So manifesto, I don't think they are going to play a major role in deciding the people's mind. What is going to be seen is a very crucial fact that whether people buy this argument that GST is against them. If it is there, if people agree to buy this thing, then I think
anything for the business community, sir?
Would vote for the Congress. But otherwise,
quick 10-second response before we go into a break. Is there anything for the business community?
No, I don't think that people will think that GST is against. Let me give you just one quick example that in the regime of service tax, everybody was trying to avoid the registration for service tax or VAT. But in terms of when it comes to GST, everybody is willing to go for the registration. This is a major shift from not willing to do it or then going to do it. So people have accepted that this is going to be the way, and they will have to obey to the rules of the GST. So I don't think that it is GST is going to against the
I'll request our guest to hold on with us for another 10 minutes before we wrap up this special broadcast. We have time to get some closing comments from all our guests. Let me start with you, Miss Ami Yagnik. We've seen that since 1995, the vote share, BJP has led the Congress by at least 8 to 10% vote share every year. In 2014, the general election, it was an unassailable 25%. Will it be any different this time round, ma'am?
Yes, I think there is a steep difference in the vote share. We just have, it has come down to 10, and I think it was, when I saw for the last time, it was just 6 to 6.5%. But if you see that there is a disgruntled feeling all over in Gujarat, and not only the business community, there is also amongst the youth, amongst these different sections of society, and also in the farmers, they, despite their agitations and despite their several requests and their agony, nothing has been done by the ruling government. And so everywhere you find there is angst against the present BJP government. Congress thinks that it has done it has created a huge dent and has promised to do a lot of good for the people of Gujarat by bringing out this detailed manifesto.
Well, a quick comment from Mr. Zafar Islam, sir. Especially in Saurashtra region, we had seen in 2012 vote share for Congress go up. What and how do you think this could be going forward? I'm sure you would say that everything is hunky-dory for BJP this time around, but is there still a sense of apprehension?
Not at all. There is absolutely no sense of apprehension. We are not at all worried. In fact, Congress is overly worried because they know that the kind of, and that's why their desperation, during the course of desperation, they're making the kind of statement they are making. Their leaders are resorted to abusing the Honorable Prime Minister. The senior leaders are actually resorted to foul languages. But we are a civilized party. We believe in our governance structure. We believe in our developmental activities. We believe in our developmental model. We believe that we have served the people of Gujarat. We know that their aspiration level. We know their expectation. We know what we have done. We have a track record. Somebody can do a back testing in terms of what we have delivered. And Congress has nothing to showcase. Congress is banking on people the resentment. They are talking about resentment. In fact, on the contrary, a businessman on your channel has clearly stated that the GST is something which they are now very comfortable because that was the teething problem that has been addressed. On those issues are no more an issue for any businessman because that's the way forward and everything is being streamlined. So Congress is actually has absolutely no agenda. Then they realize that they can mislead through manifesto. They attempted to mislead the people by making an announcement, something which cannot be delivered, both financially as well as constitutionally. Then the third strategy they had to start abusing. They resorted to abuse.
Unlike in the past,
But none of them, all those stunts will not work. They will backfire on them. And we will get a thumping majority in the state.
So let's talk about BJP, sir. We've heard enough about Congress from you. Let's talk about BJP. One final question to you, sir. We've seen in the last couple of days the campaign, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday, the way he spoke, he's making this campaign one of a personal battle. Is this an acknowledgement? And please give us an honest answer, sir, before we end this broadcast. Is it an honest acknowledgement of the fact that you don't have really the strong local leaders? You've had 2 chief ministers in the last 3-4 years. So is there an acknowledgement that that BJP, Gujarat BJP, is missing Narendra Modi, and therefore you only have Narendra Modi to show for if you were to win these elections this time around as well?
Let me very candid and honest response to your question. He is our star campaigner. He is our most important leader. He is our tallest leader. He is son of a soil. He is somebody who knows the pulse of Gujarat. He is somebody who has absolutely very, very good connectivity with people of Gujarat. He is somebody who is known to everyone, and he is somebody who can turn the tide against anyone. And let me tell you one more thing. He is somebody who has delivered. He is somebody who is known for integrity. He is somebody who is known for honesty. He is somebody known for development. He is known for peace.
Right.
And that's why you have not seen a single day of curfew in Gujarat. That's why everyone has trust in him. But tell me, on the same breath, I will ask Congress, do they have any leader to showcase here? Can they name 5 of their leaders who is capable of leading?
All right, Mr. Zafar Islam, we've done that, BJP versus Congress. We've done that. One last closing comment from Mr. Rajiv Pathak here from ETV. Mr. Pathak, we've discussed quite a host of things from manifestos to campaigning and where it's all going for the voters in Gujarat. Just give us a sense, a broad macro sense that you get, in terms of how will it pan out on the national level, the impact of this Gujarat elections. And, we have some of the key constituencies who are voting today, particularly one in Rajkot where Vijay Rupani is contesting against one of the most wealthiest candidate. How do you see this, panning out from a national perspective?
See, this Gujarat election will have a huge impact on the national scenario also. This is the last election before the elevation of Rahul Gandhi as the Congress president. And also, this is important because between 2014 and 2019 elections for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this is the biggest election from his home state. So, better performance than last time is also required for BJP, and that's why this basically shows why Prime Minister is spending so much time on Gujarat elections, the amount of time he has been investing in past 10 to 15 days. He is almost addressing 4 to 5 public meetings every day. So this shows the importance of Gujarat battle for Prime Minister and also for Rahul Gandhi. And this Gujarat election verdict will definitely have a huge impact on the national political scenario also.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to really take this opportunity to thank all our guests, Ms. Aiyar, Mr. Zafar Islam, Rajiv Pathak, Himanshu Kekani, and Mr. Bhattacharya of Business Standard. So there you have it, Archana. It seems that both parties, unsurprisingly, saying that they're going to win, come December 18th.
That's what they have to. Just one last point before we end. You know, when I was touring Gujarat, one sense that I got from the local people, whether you speak to the local journalists or you speak to people on the ground, was that this is the election where the fight, where there is actually a fight. In the last 2 elections, BJP had it possibly very easy. But this is
not
the real...
a one-horse race. There are 2 parties.
There are certainly
in Congress.
2 parties, and this is one fight election.
And don't forget, whatever the verdict is, I mean, sometime from now, Congress will have a new president in Rahul Gandhi. So this verdict will be seen very, very closely and could perhaps also change his electoral fortunes one way or the other. But we've completely run out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on this special broadcast. From all of us here, have a great weekend. Goodbye.